None of this is real. I mean, who even are you on the timeline? Do you know? Doesn't matter. I think it does matter because none of this is real.
Well, okay.
The TVA is not your real home. Mobius isn't even your real name.
Well, it's what I answer to.
Do you have any idea what kind of life you might have left behind? Who might be waiting for you back there? I mean, do you care? I mean, you know they took us. You know they took our lives, and you're still here. I mean, it's kind of weird, man. I mean, you need to wake up.
I'm awake.
Yeah, no, you're asleep. You need to wake
I'm awake.
up, Mobius. And until you do, you're nothing. You're nothing here. And until you wake up, you're just a nowhere man. You're a nowhere man.
Welcome, decorated Lumon employees. Today I plan on bringing a new series to the channel. Depending on how much engagement and feedback it gets, I hopefully will be doing it for every new show or movie that comes out that I tend to enjoy. But the core idea is to bring out the craziest, out there, wildest theories and bring them to light in some way, shape, or form. I want these theories to be able to hold some merit within the show, and some shows it's hard to do that, but with Severance, it's scary how many of these theories actually hold some weight when you think about them for longer than a minute. Before the video continues any further, I wanted to take a step back and talk about something a little more serious. I wanted to apologize. In one of my recent videos, I had called someone out, and I really shouldn't have. So this apology goes out to Ben Stiller. I don't really know the best way to do it, so I had to ask ChatGPT. And even though they had some answers that seemed alright, most of them just didn't seem like something I'd ever be willing to do, especially that last one. That's never gonna happen, especially considering now I'm about to officially spoil the rest of your show with these theories that are pretty much rock solid. So again, I am sincerely sorry to have ruined your show. I'm sorry to have called you out because of your Apple ad. Ben.
It's interesting that nobody's ever talked about Mark's locker.
You really thought the fans of your show wouldn't have dissected that scene over and over and over again? But this stuff tends to happen, you know, especially considering you didn't send me a blue balloon with my face on it. I'm sorry. I really wanted to start off by saying thank you. 200 subscribers this early on the channel was not expected, but it is greatly appreciated. So for the people who are trying to set up their algorithm to fit more Severance videos onto their feed, or to the people who genuinely find something to take away from these videos and actually engage with it in some way, either way, I'm thankful to all who decide to stop on by. I really do appreciate it. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. And if you're interested in contributing, at the end of the video, I'll be breaking down how you can get your own personal theories and comments up on the channel as well. So now we're gonna go ahead and cover one of the posts I had made. I just basically requested folk to let me know of some of their craziest theories. So we'll just go through and see what we can find. This theory is by a user named I Do Portraits. The beginning of this theory falls in line with another theory video I did for what Lumon's grand plan is. To bullet point it, basically Lumon is attempting to resurrect Kier in an artificial way, hence why the numbers MDR is working on is being sorted into categories of the 4 main tempers. But this idea kind of expands it further in saying that the numbers they put in are directly tied to the subconscious emotions they may be feeling as a whole. Why Mark is so crucial in completing Cold Harbor is because his sense of love and or loss is crucial in recapturing a mindset of Kier's in some way, shape, or form. Hence putting the data of said emotions into what could potentially be the resurrected version of Kier. And if this combination of love and loss is specifically what Lumon needed to be able to put into Kier, is it that far-fetched to assume then that Lumon had manufactured the accident with Gemma so they could specifically get involved with Mark and take away the pieces of emotional instability that they required? Another user by the name of a Diagonal Cheesehead responded, claiming, "We've only seen one severed floor. There's many other floors with varying levels of severance occurring. Some innies have absolutely no knowledge of anything from the outside, and they realize these employees were basically useless because they couldn't do simple things." This theory expands when you realize it could potentially introduce a new vital character to the series. The user continues to say on one of these severed floors is an employee named Ben W. He's less severed than the employees we see. His Audi has a deep knowledge of claymation. Ben W is the one we saw who made the claymation that we see in the break room video. And if you pay close attention to the final product of the claymation video, it proves that this person, Ben W, is not depressed like we'd see Mark S. Because a depressed person could not make something like that. Here's another interesting one I found. This comes from a user named Imaginary_Walk29. Basically, they go on to say, Devin's baby is already implanted with the consciousness of Harmony Selvig's mother. That's why she wanted to be around the baby. The user went on to say that this storyline could potentially be a remake/reversal of Rosemary's Baby in some way, shape, or form. This would also provide some merit to the imagery we see of a baby Kier Egan crawling around with Mark at the end of the intro. This theory comes from a Discord user named Damon. They basically go on to say that all this story they have about the 1800s and Lumon's founding is a complete lie, and that James Egan is actually Kier. This does seem like something a shady, corrupted company would do. Another reply I had gotten on my post was from a user named longjumping_work3789. Please make your usernames a little easier to say. This user goes on to say, I don't know what the theory is, but I just noticed on rewatch that at one point Rickon refers to going hiking on the Crest Trail with Devin and Mark and Gemma. Then he says, as a throwaway line, do you remember the funny bees? So, the bees were up to something. Maybe Lumon had already been working to get Gemma. Perhaps they used the bees to sting them and knock them out, then do whatever it is that Lumon does to people. Everyone's talking about saving the bees, but honestly, that could just be Lumon propaganda if this theory holds any weight. I'm just saying. Someone had mentioned something they had found, and they were kind enough to go back and find it for me. This user states that since there was 4 of them before they lost Gemma, could that be similar to the MDR team as a whole? As in Mark could equal Woe, Devin could equal Malice, Rickon could equal Dread, and Gemma could equal Frolic? Were they the perfect team when they were together? I like this theory, although I think the tempers should fit differently, but I do like this theory a lot. I really do think Rickon would be Frolic. I think I could see Gemma being Malice if she was somehow involved with Lumon in some way, shape, or form before everything happened. I could see Devin being Dread, and I could see Mark being Woe, or vice versa. I don't know, those two kind of got me. But this is a good theory and a good call out. The fact that the 4 tempers can be represented in so many different aspects of the show. This theory comes from a user named Hibby. They basically say they have a theory about Miss Wong. They are convinced that she is from the Myrtle Egan School of Girls, which might even be Lumon affiliated. This could explain how a child is working there in general, and maybe it's part of their curriculum, maybe extra credit in some way, shape, or form. Lots of schools have things that allow students to fast track into higher positions, or intern somewhere for extra credit. Maybe this is how they get around child labor laws too, if those even exist in this world, which is fair. I do like this theory. There's a lot of questions around Miss Wong, and a lot of the theories relate to Miss Cobell in some way. I do think it's interesting how similar they are. So, like I said, these theories are just theories I find when interacting with the fandom as a whole, theories that I come across and either give me a good chuckle or make me raise an eyebrow in a very concerning way because of the amount of merit it actually holds. We're gonna start this section off strong with a very powerful and well-detailed theory by a Reddit user that goes by the name Periatric. The post goes as follows. I'm calling it now. They feed the goats pineapples. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Pineapples are actually just there to feed the goats in some way, shape, or form. A reply to this that made me kind of question it a little bit deeper was someone said, or they feed the pineapple goats. Now, I don't actually believe that they're actually feeding goats to the pineapples, but I did think it was pretty interesting the similarities and the parallels between the goats and the actual Severance. This theory comes from someone that goes by the username Gravity Pollution. The post goes as follows, titled, My Daughter's Theory. It's literally Sienfield. They go on to say, watching the 2nd season with my teenage daughter, and she suddenly shouted, it's Sienfield, it's literally Sienfield. I.e. Mark is Jerry, Ellie is Elaine, Dylan is George, and Irving is Kramer. Of course, director-producer Ben Stiller's father, Jerry, played George's father on Sienfield. In addition, Yul Vasquez, Petey, was a recurring cast member, and Bob Balbin, aka Mark W. in season 2's opener, played the president of NBC on Seinfeld's 4th season. The evidence is irrefutable. Severance is a soft reboot of Seinfeld. Some people even went on to comment that this series could be a sequel to season 1. Now we have our next theory here. New theory. Lumon is Santa's workshop. Some key points that add to this theory the user lays down are: we only see the outside world during winter conditions. Perhaps they are located at the North Pole. MDR may be tasked with deciding who goes on the naughty or nice list, thus explaining why their work requires the use of emotional judgment. Optics and design may be making various toys and gifts for the children. And remember Kier's slogan,
as Kier said, be ever merry.
Sounds suspiciously like something a certain Saint Nick would say. I could go on, but the evidence keeps mounting. Another person commented on this post that the goats could actually be baby reindeer. This would also explain a certain character's fascination with baking, specifically Miss Kobelvik, or should I say, Mrs. Claus. Ooh, someone else had commented, adding more weight to this theory as a whole. Basically, they wanted to contribute to this theory by adding, severance is required because only a person with access to their inner child can refine the data to the naughty and nice list. It must be an innie unburdened by the knowledge and stress of adult life. O&D doesn't just make toys, they also make tools for toy making, such as hatchets. If anyone's gonna be friends with Santa, it's Keanu Reeves, and he would totally voice a building for him. Wait a minute. Did Keanu Reeves voice the Lumon building? No, he didn't. No way! What? Keanu Reeves voiced the Lumon building? Oh my gosh. That's insane. I did not pick up on that one bit. Okay, going back to the Santa theory. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Another point they add is, logistically, Santa could not sustain the same non-profit model as he always had. He decided to capitalize on capitalism in 1866. Another addition is, Santa is not immortal physically. He also uses the chip to revolve into other bodies. He has to do this frequently because he has to be an old man to keep up appearances, which means a limited time in each body. Currently, his consciousness is being transferred into Bert. And if the thought of Christopher Walken being Santa Kier doesn't bring a smile on your face, then perhaps you need some macro data refinement. Good point. And their final addition to this theory is, the elves are the girls from Myrtle Egan School for Girls. Their tiny hands are needed for the final assembly of toys. We haven't met the assembly department yet, but Miss Huang blackmailed her way out of there and into a cushy supervisor role. That's why there's tension between her and Milkshake. I don't know, there's not many contradicting elements to that theory, that's all I'm saying. We're gonna go ahead and end off on the theory that actually inspired this whole idea. I had recently placed this theory in a previous one of my videos, but I wanted to highlight it again because I wouldn't be coming up with this video concept if it wasn't for just coming across this theory altogether. To go ahead and provide the proper credits, this theory comes to us by a user at the name of Jumbo_soup. Theory is titled, Mr. Milkshake is actually a milkshake. The user goes on to say, I know this might sound crazy, but hear me out. What if Milkshake being called a milkshake wasn't actually a joke, but instead it was the show telling us both his backstory and how the show will end? Milkshakes are cold, and Milkshake is shown to be a very cold person emotionally, while maintaining a sweet, lovely aesthetic on top. Whipped cream, cherry. MDR has had melon bars and egg bars, but never a milkshake bar. This could be because Milkshake does not want to be eaten by Mark and the rest of the inmates. Reasonable. I mean, Dylan, even without realizing he was a milkshake, already tried to get himself a piece, so. Another point they add is, during the Defiant Jazz sequence, Milkshake was shaking all over the place while the rest of MDR was moving slightly. When I looked at Milkshake, I thought, wow, he's so good at that. Well, maybe it's because being a milkshake would have given him lots of experience with shaking. This could explain why Dylan got so angry, as he may have hated milkshakes, which would make him irrationally angry at Milkshake, causing him to attack. Or Dylan just wanted a piece of Milkshake. The Lumon building is located in a very cold area, snow everywhere. This is not due to weather, but actually because milkshakes must be kept at a cold temperature or they will melt. To add to this theory, This could explain why he only ever goes out at night and not out during the sun. Because if he went out during the sun, the milkshake would what? Melt. Yes. Okay. Gosh, I don't know what that was. And they go on to add the final piece of evidence that's pretty unrefutable. You can't, everything else here you can kind of disagree with in some way, shape, or form, but I dare you to try to find something wrong with this one. Their final point is, I like milkshakes, and I also like Mr. Milkshake. He's pretty cool. What can you say to that? There's not much disagreement to be had there. Go change their minds. Go tell them milkshake isn't a milkshake. Anyways, the user ends with a grand theory on how this actually ties to the rest of the show. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it slightly verbatim because I don't know how to read. I think the proof speaks for itself. But what does this mean for the show? Well, here's what I think will happen. It will be revealed that Lumon isn't cloning or even trying to achieve immortality, but is actually turning people into milkshakes. Mr. Milkshake was one of the first milkshakes, so he would have been given a job of high importance like management. This could also explain Miss Huang, as she is a child and thus would be too young to turn into a milkshake. So, Mr. Milkshake would have to watch over her to make sure she will be ready when she reaches milkshake age. That doesn't... Okay, for when she reaches milkshake age. That's why she's the new supervisor, so Milkshake can keep an eye on her. But why would Lumon want to turn people into milkshakes? It's simple. Kier was a big milkshake fan, and when he was a small boy, someone said to him, if you love milkshakes so much, then why don't you just become one? So, that last bit kind of threw your theory out of the window. What I think is we already have seen the smiling wall. What if his goal is to turn everyone into milkshakes so that anyone who isn't a milkshake inevitably suffers from dental issues, thus forcing them to go to Lumon and get some work done? Yeah, no, I'm lost it on that one. I'm gonna stop right there. Point is, milkshakes. This user, by the name of subscribe to Mudlove, basically says that's what the numbers are. They're sorting them into flavors, and the best ingredients come from the goat consciousness. So they read goat minds to get the awesome flavors and sort them before creating milkshakes, which then evolve using Lumon milkshake evolutionary tech into little milkshakes that grow into full milkshakes over time. Another addition they added was, why do you think Kier wants to sever the world? It's so obvious. Milkshakes will also not melt at the cold temperatures of the bottom of the ocean, so Dylan was technically half right.
My theory? The sea.
Lumon is also removing all the electric eels to pave way for human milkshake ocean colonization. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and call that one there. If you're interested in joining the fun in these type of videos that I'm making, then feel free to comment down below what kind of theories or ideas you have. Feel free to disclose whether it's a serious theory or whether it's a joking theory, because I do kind of make separate videos for more serious theories altogether. But either way, I like just hearing the community's engagement with the series and ideas that they come up with, so I'd be happy to hear any theories you guys have as well. Thank you so much for all the support I've been getting on these videos. It's been genuinely life-changing. I will always cover storytelling because storytelling is in my blood and bones. Either way, I also just watch way too much TV. Again, I do live stream react to the new episodes when they dropped, so if you want to turn on your TV and watch alongside and throw down some theories, then definitely feel free to do so. I also like to leave these videos off with a little piece of advice. We're all sharing theories out there, and some people might share some theories that they are very passionate about. Or maybe they make theories without the full knowledge that everybody on the internet has. It's important to not put other people down for their ideas, but instead embrace their analytical minds and their eagerness to solve the puzzle that's being displayed in front of all of us. Judging anybody for their amount of knowledge is not okay. Instead, coming together and uniting in some grand theory or a grand goal and figuring this show out is a much more proactive and healthy way to be a part of the community. Again, I seriously appreciate all the support I've been getting on the channel. I'm a big advocate for creativity and storytelling, hence why I also like to share creative projects that anyone might want to have. Point is, did not expect these videos to do as well as they did. I'm relatively new to the YouTube scene, so it means a lot, but I plan on being here for a while. So again, thank you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your day.